And we're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nurture Solutions. My name is Lacho Cosmos, and I'm doing another live. Today, we're going to look at the first issue of the Kente Business Journal, and we're just going to go through and see what's inside, and kind of start opening up the the business world on the continent, and start connecting it with what's going on, what we're doing over here in Seattle and in the United States. And it starts with as simple as reading a journal that kind of helps you understand the playing field over there in Ghana specifically. And so I'll just show you guys the cover, and then we can go inside and see what's up. So here it is. Kente Business Journal. And so what they talk about in this one is, the economic impact of sporting rights on African sports industry, and talking about the infrastructure of sports in Ghana, athlete representation. And so kind of starting in this area. But right there, the man on the cover, the first cover is Nana Yau Aponsa is, well, let's go right back. Let's go right into it. So, so if you can see, I got that first issue, and they got it signed by uh, the publishers, and so it's exciting. Thanking me for buying it. It was good. And so here, what is Kente Business Journal about? It says Kente Business Journal highlights economic and cultural challenges and opportunities in a variety of industries on the African continent. Of particular focus are sports, technology, entertainment, and agricultural industries. Our mission is to provide the most essential business information for African and African descent communities that lead to profitable solutions and more community wealth through job creation. And so you look at the chief executive officer of Kente Business Journal is Faduma Ahmed Fido, and the managing director or the editor is Ahmed Nana Kweku Jua Ajaman of Ajaman Consulting. And then the business development director is Nana Kobe Bartels. And then the global coordinator is Grace Aisha Hamidou Musa. And the lead graphics is Thomas T. Torto. And so they're based out of Accra and based out of here in Seattle. And so going right into it. So the things we're gonna tackle is, why Africa has a shortage of Nana Yau Aponsa. And so it talks about a leader's ability to be open-minded and partisan is based on deeply rooted passion for strong values, principles, intrinsic risk analysis, difficult decision making, and a strong desire to achieve lasting results. And so that's kind of Ahmed Nana Kweku Jua Ajama, the what's his title again? Managing director and editor. That's a quote he has on there. And then we're gonna see an exclusive with Nana Aponsa from Ghana, a mogul over there, and then also talk about the effects of the impacts of sporting rights on the African sports industry, specifically in Ghana. Um, and so for me, this is actually a special journal because I had traveled to Ghana a couple years ago and was really, I played they had a tournament there that I was a part of, and my team ended up winning the championship. I actually ended up hitting the game-winning shots. There were free throws with no time left on the clock, so you can actually, it's on this channel. The game that we played is on this channel, but I'm talking about sports rights and sports infrastructure in general in Ghana is something that's close to my heart, because that was, for me, that was one of the best experiences I had there, was playing sports with the guys on the sports, on this university team, but also guys who played in some of the smaller professional, semi-professional leagues in Tema and in Accra as well. And so kind of seeing that, this is one of the things they tackle in this first episode, first issue of the Business Journal, is like, yes, I had to get this. I had to get this one. But so yeah, so we're going to talk about the impact of sports rights on the African sports industry, and then the states of sports infrastructure in Ghana. And that's that was one thing for me. I was like, man, there's so much growth opportunity there. to be able to make one indoor courts or even outdoor courts because the weather is perfect there all the time. So, we played on concrete. We played the championship on a concrete court with, it wasn't the best infrastructure, but that's just more opportunity for growth. That's all that is. It's just, you know, we can with so much we can do to build. Um, and then also going, kind of going further into the future is, athlete representation. And so that's a whole nother level of it. But um, and so actually, and what I love about this is that it's so African centered that the advertisement in the first or second page is by Luciano. Actually, funny thing is a Seattle U graduate, which I also am, who founded this company, and she was a part of the business competition, and I'm pretty sure she won. Um, she won first place about 4 years ago, and so it's these are nice bags. It says the founder is Joy Egbejimba. Nuciano is derived from the word Nucaciano and resonates the freedom to believe and express yourself as an independent woman. From desk to dinner, the selected curated collection features elegant designs with a variety of fierce color options. Luciano is quickly becoming Hollywood's favorite handbag designer. So just to be able to see an African designer that's making it big be advertised in an African magazine about African businesses. Like, oh yeah, this is what it's about right here. Promoting each other, and helping each other grow. That's what it's all about. And so, seeing that that's kind of their first ad you see is of another African entrepreneur being very successful here in America. And so, yeah, so the first thing is talking about, you know, the why we need more Nana Yahoo Aponsa in Africa, entrepreneur moguls who are there to develop our countries. And so it kind of goes into the story of his life, where he grew up. And so it's just talking about the ambition that a lot of young people in Ghana have, and kind of, and actually, it says here Nana Yao Aponsa is the CEO of the Royal Asante Club, Kotoko. And Kotoko, I'm pretty sure that's in Accra, which is the airport is named Kotoko Airport. So that's kind of goes into that and goes into where he went to high school. And he was raised in the port city of Tema, which is quite the city. It's got a lot of even though Accra is where a lot of people go, Tema has got its own vibe. It's got it's got a lot of industrial um, centers there, but it's also you got a lot of celebrities, especially Nigerian celebrities that come to Tema. And Tema, it's a nice, and they got the sports league in Tema as well. Yalago take you to Tema. You know that song, um, and so also, um, you know, Nana Yao was also sponsored by. I'm not sponsored. Sorry, he was mentored by Kofi Annan, um, and just kind of talks about going to University of Ghana at Legon, which is where I went as well. So I'm wondering, we probably had some of the same professors, if not, because I'm like, wow, the university, even though university is the biggest one, it's still pretty small. You start seeing people, start knowing people easily, um, and so one of the quotes that they have in here. Um, it says that the elephant in the room: can Africa sustain her youngest population with an outdated system yielding liability results? And so that's kind of that's the big question. And I think as entrepreneurs and the future of Africa, these are the types of questions we have to be asking ourselves. Is the current systems, obviously they haven't been able to perform well for the current, for our parents' generation. And so, with the growth that Africa is experiencing, they're completely out of their league. The systems cannot be able to really provide everything that the young population needs, and it's on us as young population to revise, innovate, and build the future that's going to be able to, and here talk about human capital development, and that's about, what kind of skills can we cultivate within ourselves. And you know just to take a moment out of, from the journal, but it's I like to infuse, the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey. He, you know, he was very successful in mobilizing our people to start building that which they need. And so, seeing that, we are again at that crossroads, where we either, we either find a way to develop ourselves, our skills, our connections, so that we can, kind of have that, the strength and capability to be able to lift, um, our continent in the future, and be able to help, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's in sport, whatever it is, be able to provide and do it for ourselves. Um, and this obviously goes into specifics about what's going on in Africa with the systems. And one of the things they talk about is, it says the UN estimates that 90 billion on average of illegal outflows yearly out of Africa since 2013. So just ways of people laundering money out of Africa, and robbing our countries of developing what they need. And we all know that due to the colonial structures and the post-colonial structures that African countries have been placed under, 90 billion is nothing compared to what the real number of what is illegally stolen or robbed out of Africa. And so if you look at, if you look at the, not the taxes, first of all, that are robbed from Africa through, some of the islands that function as money laundering schemes, scheme places. Africa loses out on money on that. And talk about ownership. We don't own any. We don't own much of the infrastructures to support life on the continent. And so there, right there, we spend money, but it's not reinvested back into our own country. So that's another. No other countries do that, and or at least they have systems to enable their own people to own the industry so that they can be able to reinvest in their own people for that human capital development. I mean, so that's, that's a major part of the equation. Is okay, how do we own industries so that we can reinvest in our own people, so the money is not always flying out of our country. And so, kind of towards the end of the article, it talks about, as Africans, we have to evolve, or else we have to change the way we're thinking. We can't follow the footsteps of America and Europe, and China, and the way they did their thing, because that's the way they did it. We can learn from them, but we have to find our own way. And that involves, studying ourselves, studying our history, understanding ourselves. First of all, having the confidence to even not look to Europe and China for leadership, and say, you know what, I have the power as an African to be able to develop a system, to be able to rule my country effectively without having to ask other people with varying interests what I should do to help myself. We should have the confidence to say, you know what I decide to do is actually the best way that I'm going to be able to help myself. And that comes with a degree of confidence that we have to cultivate. And if we don't cultivate that, we will always be the the followers, the imitators of, of systems and peoples that have no interest for us and developed in a completely different environment. And so we can't expect them to be able to give us the tools and ways of doing things that is going to help us in our own unique situation. So it's on us. So we have to evolve, no matter what. We have to push each other to innovate and evolve and grow, so that we can be able to tackle the problems that are ahead. And so the man himself, um, here he is, Ajuman Consulting Services. It's Ahmed Nana Kweku Ajuman. He's a consultant advisor. And so it says Mr. Ajuman is a founding member of Ajuman Consulting Services and the executive director of African Descent Youth Affairs. He is responsible for business and strategy development, company growth, and optimizing investments for sustainable returns, with a focus on developed and emerging markets. And so that's, that's the man behind this. Well, partly behind this because there's a whole team behind it, but he's one of the guys behind the Kente Business Journal, and he's been doing adjunct service consulting services for a while. I mean, so if you got any questions about what you want to take your business to Africa, he's the man to talk to. And so we go on to the next one. And so yeah, they kind of go specifically now into interview. And here's a sports stadium in Ghana. So it looks like. Um, and he goes kind of he talked about soccer and the opportunities, the club ownership opportunities in Ghana and other parts of Africa as well. Um, um, yeah, it just kind of goes into specifics of what he's thinking. Here's a logo of what Nana Yahoo Aponsa owns, Asante Kotoko, the club. And so just they go into specifics about the challenges that he has to endure and how he's had to evolve, how he structures his his businesses and strategies for maximum returns, but also sustainable returns. And so it's kind of more of that interview and talks about kind of actually beyond just owning the club, but like running the actual soccer club. Talk about how the medical services required to keep the players tip top shape and to be able to heal, the psychology of sports science. That's a big part of it. Is like we think about for example in basketball, which is my main sport, is once you see somebody do something that you didn't think you could, it becomes a possibility. And then now you see more and more kids do it. So for example, like free throw line dunks, it was like, you could win a dunk contest with that. I mean, you still can because it's still an amazing feat regardless. But now people have gone to the level of windmilling from the free throw line. So, sports psychology and sports science in general of the mind is a huge part of sports, because once you see somebody do a bicycle kick, you can practice it and then do it. And then you take it to another level. If you see somebody do a windmill dunk, then you're like, wait, it's a possibility. You keep trying until one day you do it. And so, it can also carry over into going back to that confidence piece I talk about as Africans and as innovators is, once we see what's really possible, so people leading the way like Nana Yaoua Ponsan or Ahmed, doing things in the business world that for our own continent, that, or Nuciano Bag, like being successful, being African and doing things their own way. It's that mindset. Like, okay, now other kids are like, yo, other Africans are like, yo, we can just make it successful doing our own thing, our own way. We don't have to look for anybody else for leadership. We can be the leaders. And there are already a lot of those people who are doing that. So, this is just continuing in that tradition. Um, and so it just, it keeps going into many different aspects of it. And so you wanna read the interview, you gotta get the journal. I'll share their website below, but go on there, support them, and get get the journal to read it. And then also there's an ad. Oh wow, huh? They decide to do some stuff. Let them finish. They're about to go, but so this is an ad for. Let's we're patient. Um, yeah, this is an ad for a company in Ghana. As you can see the address down there. For me, it's so cool to see that because it's like when I was in Accra in Ghana, I drove down in that neighborhood in that area, and it's like being able to see an ad for that place across the world is like yes. And then wow, look at that, even more. So you have made in Ghana, right? So when I was there, I was learning about how Ghana is really pushing for being able to produce its own rice and whatever else they needed. And so they made that so made in Ghana stamp, as you can see, like that, the flag with this is made in Ghana. So as many things as they can do, they can produce, they start moving in that direction. And so here's another line of products. um and so again, just being able to see ads for products in Ghana, this is part of the, I think, the build bridge building that needs to happen. Is now we can now, you can buy it in bulk. So instead of buying from Asia, we can, as Africans here in the diaspora, or African descendant people here, or just Black people here in the U.S., you can just, instead of buying from China, you can buy straight from Africa. And so now we're supporting each other, where we're reinvesting in one another, where you buy the products, and people in Africa, see, it's literally, it's called Pan African whatever have you, palm kernel cake, rice bran. Pan African is in the name, so it's really about that. So it says, um, yeah. So let's talk about all the products you need right there. Um, yeah, it was amazing. When I was in Ghana, we visited Jamestown, which is one of the highly impoverished areas in Ghana. It's right on the beach, and we went into one of the areas that has produced some, I think Olympic level boxing athletes. But when you go to the place, it's so, you wouldn't expect it to, because it's just, you got a ring that's made like right there in the middle of this low key underground um building. It's very, very broken down, but all you need is a bag, and a good coach, and and a good student, and that's all it takes to make some great athletes. So um the talk, they're going kind of into more into other sports, but that was, boxing was another one where I didn't even know, but when we were walking around and doing the tour, we saw that. I was like, wait, I didn't know this area. But when you went outside, you could see people. I saw some guys just doing jump ropes or doing boxing exercises, and it's like, yeah, that's all you need. You don't need to be that fancy to do anything. You just, as long as you can train. Um and so it's sports is nothing new in Africa. Obviously, we've done wrestling, we've done all types of athletics for millennia, and so it's just, the difference is now, it's not as monetized as it is here in the U.S. or in Europe. But we have great athletes, and great sports that aren't even on the world stage yet. And so this is all the birth of something great, where we can imagine the level of job growth, the level of economic growth that's going to happen when Africa figures out, or I guess even not figures out, we already know what we just, it's time is the only thing that's going to take is growing. And obviously we got the best athletes, like nobody is gonna nobody can touch African athletes, huh? And so just kind of going into that. So they talk about cycling as sports in Africa. They talk about cricket in South Africa, Kenya, and Zimbabwe. Obviously wrestling, that's all-time favorite of the African peoples. Um, and so there's just a lot in basketball. Whoa, J. Cole played professional basketball in Africa. I never thought I would even get to that point. And so this right here is talking about the sports market in Africa and the growth that it's going to experience over the last year. And then also there's the TV side of it, is where they talk about the broadcasting rights. Imagine a billion, like, Africans already watch so much sport. Like, I remember when I was in Accra, the university, in one of the dorms, when there was the I forgot which European league was on, but there was some big game happening, and one entire dorm wall was turned into a screen, where they brought a projector and a big white wall, and everybody came and sat outside on the lawn and just was watching the game. And then also in one of the rooms upstairs where there was a TV, you couldn't even go to sleep sometimes, because people would be watching the game late into the night, and it was just always going on. So sports broadcasting rights in Africa, if it's owned by Africans, it's a huge opportunity, billions and billions of dollars there, and also with the accompanying job opportunities, and development opportunities, infrastructural development opportunities for African countries. And so it's that broadcasting rights is a huge opportunity as well, and the infrastructure building. And so this is kind of one thing I hope to kind of research more of into is construction companies, African owned construction companies, Black owned construction companies, because infrastructure building is absolutely necessary for the next stage of our development. we have to have the, the know-how, and so that's the big opportunities, like, building these sports stadiums, building, training facilities, with everything that surrounds, sports. Once we have, scalable, companies that are able to do the construction. It's not even, that again, that contributes to the amount of, jobs that will be developed, because we will have people who know how to build stadiums, who know how to build roads, who know how to, with upkeep, maintenance. So that natural development of, of whatever, it's going to contribute to, the economic, stability of Africans. And with the youth coming up, people will have so many opportunities for jobs. You have sports agents, you'll have trainers, you'll have sports psychologists, you'll have, announcers, you'll have TV, like, all the things that come with a sports, with a sports team or sports league. It all of it is ready, and we have to make sure Africans are at the helm of these things, or else we'll just continue perpetuating, colonization, which, people might not think of it like that, but if you don't own, if you don't own the TV rights, the broadcasting rights, if you don't own the, anything that if you're not able to make, like, okay, I'll use a quote by Dr. John Henry Clark, is, you are not ready to rule a country until you're able to make your own underwear. If you can't make your own underwear, you're not ready to rule to rule your own country. And so I think that's, for me, that's a beautiful, measuring stick for, our free, like, how free are Africans to do for themselves. And if we can't make our own underwear, or if we don't make our own underwear, we, thinking about controlling our own country is, it's a far larger task than we're able to, if we can't do our underwear. And so I know that we make cloth, we make all these different things. So, as part of this, as part of our work here at Nurture Solutions, is to not just help for community development and community economic development here in the diaspora, but also, eventually get to the point where we utilize our raw materials in Africa to create everything that we need, so that we can, exchange value with, other people on an equal platform, but also support, African populations in anywhere in the world with everything that they need, so that they don't have to be placed in the most, you know, economically disenfranchised neighborhoods, and systematically displaced because they don't have ownership or political, voice. So that has to do with how strong your economics is. If you have a strong economic base, you're able to combat anybody and anything that seeks to harm you. And so, as a part, and I see that, with the Kente Business Journal, it is a huge step forward in promoting, African economic development in so many different areas. And this one is tackling athletics in general, but there's so many other opportunities to explore for Africans, for young Africans, that we have to, we have to start just going straight ahead into it, jumping into it, just take the risks, because the rewards are not just, economically, like, okay, fine, you make $1 billion, you make $1 million, whatever, but you have to look at it in terms of how many people you're going to inspire to also be leaders and create things that you can't even imagine, that I can't even imagine. Being able to spark imaginations, across the continent and across the world, to create new things. And that's, for me, that's the most exciting thing. Is like, what is it that I can't even think of that will come from something small that I do, or something small that you do, that could potentially change so much for the positive, for the better, for our people. And so this was kind of the first, the first issue of Kente Business Journal, and I'm excited to get the next one when it comes out, and we can continue this conversation and talk about it, and exploring what's in the journal. And I don't give everything out that's in there. I just give you brief, kind of rundown on what's in it. But it's a really, really cool journal. I encourage everybody to get it, and And so I'll share the link to the Kente Business Journal website so that you can go on there and buy it. And so here, let me post it in a comment. And so here we go. So I just shared that, so we can go buy the journal. It's only $30 for a lot of value, because you're not going to get this information anywhere else. There's nobody that's going out there interviewing African entrepreneurs to really to give you a perspective that is Pan-Africanist and places the African people first. It's not about, oh, let me make it easier for all these big companies that have no interest in ensuring a fruitful and a successful Africa. No, this journal is like, okay, you Africans, you African descendants of that diaspora, here are the opportunities for you. There's literally phone numbers for the companies that are functioning there. You got businesses like Agilent Consulting that can get you plugged into the continent. So, we're all doing this, and I'm trying to play my part by boosting, Kente Business Journal, but it's on each one of us individually to do our own research and to do our own information gathering and figuring out from where we are, what can we contribute to moving our people forward. And so I'm gonna play a song here that I really like as kind of an outro. It's by Kojoy Radical, and it's called Kwame Nkrumah.
Would you mind if I took a second to vent? Would you respect me as a man if I give you anything less than me? My delusions are grandeur and far bigger than your assumptions, far past the comprehension and narcissism. I really do feel like I'm the feces you perceive me to be. Lay your thoughts still. I step forth from course direction. This self-esteem of why be rapping to these obstacles I've grown accustomed. What I do not speak into existence will only fall by the wayside. Waste no one, no wanting not to be a waste is only a crime that it is heart and clouds. Would it be selfish if I prayed for patience when the only time I do is when my soul feels vacant? See blues in the muddy water, sing my sorrows, and the truth is a poem, still a poem if it's self-centered. Find I write just to center myself. See the proof from breath out for belief. Another in begin to rent, preach peace. Take a couple nines to the 1%. Oh, I must be. I was given over an option, propped up to position by leaning on all my problems. Hear the dialogue. No one they pay me as. I'm human. No, we share the same species. I must be the radical. Don't shoot me for a retweet. Sing about. Sing my lows as well as victories. Teach my wrong and speak my history. Craft just how they remember me. A man of action and a thought, and of course a couple days by my fault, so I must be. Trust me. You agree and I'm the hero. If you don't, then fuck me. I don't talk my truth for hugs. I don't need you all to love me, just to listen. Forgiveness or permission. I've been around the kings. I've been around the victims. I've been around the queens. I've been around the riches. I fasted with the Muslims. I prayed with the Christians. I've been around the desperate. I know why they did it. I've lived through the evils. I've stood with the people and they look at me. And they look at me. They look at me. They look at me, they look at me, they look at me. They look at me like a winner now. Cause I had a dream and I chased it. I thought I running the easy part. It's really much harder to maintain. I pray for peace, pray for patience. Hope they can hear my frustrations. I wear my fear like a fragrance. You wanna alter my cadence. I cry the tears of a nation. They think they're Donnie Montana. I think I'm Kwame Nkrumah. I think I'm Kwame Nkrumah. You will not give me my freedom. I cry the tears of a nation. They think they're Donnie Montana. I think I'm Kwame Nkrumah. Oh, time I'm important. I hope I don't lose my endorsements. Cause they keep on telling me shh. And I keep on talking and talking around. Let's just hope that they come. Blackness on loud from the coast to come on. Blackness on loud from the coast to come on. Blackness on loud from the blackness on loud. Belly empty like action with no force. Men don't follow blind men to war. My attire so you pardon my decor. Do you remember the depths from which we start from? Young soldier, I admire your resilience. A young mind should never fear the experience. I paved ways to pay dues and diligence. While looking at what's mine like a privilege. By far the greatest wrongs are inflicted on self. The weight of our opinions now dictated by wealth. Weight the position of my passion now placed on both shoulders. I will speak for the ones who see hope but feel hopeless. I was born with a gold embedded deep in my roots, where a couple of them cities pay police not to shoot. Your people have seen war, but they do not have a clue. My people have seen more, where compassion as the proof. My daddy was a member of the CPP. If ignorance is what they teach, then they need not preach. The blackest star may shine brightly, guide my feet forever forward through heavy waters like it's not that deep. I find the nerve of my peers unsettling, willing to show evil to their people too. Propagating people acts, looking like a prophet to my people, but they never asked nothing of my people. Simply spoke to my people. Now they look at me. They look at me. Yeah, yeah. They look at me. They look at me. They look at me. They look at you. They look at me. They look at us. And they look at we. And they look at you. And they look at me. And they look at. They look at me like a winner now. Cause I had a dream and I chased it. I thought I running the easy part. It's really much harder to maintain. I pray for peace, pray for patience. Hope they can hear my frustrations. I wear my fear like a fragrance. You want the fault of my cases. I cry the tears of a nation. They think they done in Montana. I think I'm Kwame and Kuma. I think I'm Kwame and Kuma. You will not give me my freedom. I cry the tears of a nation. They think they done in Montana. I think I'm Kwame and Kuma.
I think I'm Kwame Nkrumah. Well, there you go, y'all. Thank y'all for watching, and we out. And yeah, go check out that song and check out Kente Business Journal. And actually, that's a fire song too. It's a common song by Sons of Kemet that features Koday Radical. So y'all should probably check that out. It's a dope song. But for next time, till we talk about the next issue of the Kente Business Journal, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. We're gonna be talking about a lot of things. Any and everything that has to do with Africa and Black people worldwide, planet wide, universe wide, everywhere wide. That's what we about. All right. Have a great whatever time it is that you're watching this.